This episode is brought to you by Act Now Education. Go to www.actnoweducation.com for free comprehensive educational resources and opportunities for active duty, veterans, military spouses, and children.
I was working a particularly hard job at one point in time. It was freezing cold. It was like 17 degrees below zero. We had to have everything running in order to, if we shut it off, it would freeze. I remember working in that situation, and we were making jokes about pursuing an education looking like a good idea at the time. And I think it was a month later, I was in my first semester at college, studying to try to make myself better. So it was an immediate turnaround to, I was making money, I was able to support myself, but long term, that wasn't going to be a viable option.
Thank you for joining us today. We're very fortunate to have two Army veterans on the show here to talk about a program that prepares you for tomorrow's job market with technological occupations, which will open doors to a lifelong career because, as you know, our high-speed age of internet and security isn't going away anytime soon. The program is called NPower, and they have established themselves as a frontline leader in providing military veterans and underserved communities a great opportunity for up-and-coming professionals looking for that window of opportunity to open up. I'd like to welcome Program Director of NPower, Demetrius Goodwin, and recent program graduate, Joshua Murphy, to the morning formation. Thank you both for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, KP. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
The honor is all mine, and I really appreciate you guys giving me the chance and the time today. I know you guys are super busy. You got a lot of stuff going on, especially in this beautiful summer that we're having. And my first question is to you, Demetrius. Just for context, I want to start off to ask you about NPower. Would you mind briefly explaining to our audience what NPower is all about?
Yeah, so basically, we have a mission to connect young adults and also veterans and veteran spouses to, certification-based training, and then also internships as apprenticeships and job placement opportunities. So we've had that mission, for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years now. And yeah, that's basically it. One of our taglines, I was going to say, is just helping to launch digital careers.
That's great. And definitely over the horizon, digital careers is something that's going to continue to grow and grow. And so I want to congratulate Josh for being a recent program graduate of NPower. And since we're talking about you, Josh, I'd like to hear more about you as an individual because you are a successful NPower graduate. Would you mind telling us where you're originally from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in a small town near Pittsburgh. So Southwest Pennsylvania. Now I live down here in Baltimore. I've been pursuing IT-related career for a bit now, and that's why I moved across, the East Coast there a little bit. So originally from a small town, and kind of grew up real grassroots.
Right on. I understand that growing up, education was not at the forefront of your upbringing, and you dropped out of high school. Can you tell us at what age did you decide to drop out of high school?
So it was really a kind of an organic decision because work was just more important at the time, I think, for me. So I started working in small businesses that my family owned and things like that. And so, going to work and making money was kind of more of a priority than going to school at the time.
Yeah, and I understand that at 18 years old, you decided to get your GED. How difficult was that for you, and why did you decide to take education more seriously?
My earlier thoughts that it was important to start making money and, prioritizing that over everything else. I was working very hard, and that was kind of like everyone around me. That was like their ticket to make it and be successful in life was just go to work hard. And so I was working these really long days and everything like that, and 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And it was true, I was making money and I was able to support myself, but I wasn't moving ahead. There wasn't a path for me that was going to make any of this better. So I was working a particularly hard job at one point in time. It was freezing cold. It was like 17 degrees below zero. We had to have everything running in order to, if we shut it off, it would freeze. So, I remember working in that situation, and we were making jokes about pursuing an education looking like a good idea at the time. And I think it was a month later, I was in my first semester at college, studying to try to make myself better. So it was an immediate turnaround to, I was making money. I was able to support myself, but long term, that wasn't going to be a viable option.
How many siblings do you have, and how would you describe the town that you were in? I mean, I know a lot of small towns have a lot of setbacks as far as things like drugs and simple job opportunities. Would you describe that a little bit?
So yeah, growing up in a small town, there's a lot of perks that come along with it. I miss home. That's what I always will think of when I think of home. But there really isn't much in the way of opportunity. It's really whatever's in the area, and I see that all over the place. And in a small town, you really had like your pick of a couple factories or a couple stores, to work at in town, and the industry was really uh, it didn't have a lot of opportunity to kind of branch out. You kind of got stuck in, this is what your father did, this is what your grandfather did, this is the industry that's around here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was difficult. And so I'm a member of a big family. I have a dozen or so brothers and sisters, so it's a little chaotic around the house, running around whenever I visit family and everything like that. But in our small area, definitely in 2008, 2009 time, which is right around when I joined the Army. My town did suffer from the opioid pandemic was hitting around the outside edges of the area that I was growing up, and I saw that in a real way with people that I knew and was close to and everything like that. So it was important from early on to prioritize how you were going to plan your life.
So after you get your GED, you decided to start looking at an opportunity with the military. Why did you choose the Army National Guard and the MOS that you ended up signing up with?
Going to the Guard, to me, it made a lot of sense. Number one, like I said, I was trying to pursue a career and I was trying to get educated and go through college. And the National Guard has always advertised that they're friendly and in support of that pursuit. So I thought it was a no-brainer because when I arrived at college, it became very evident to me that I didn't know what direction I was trying to head in. And that was a repeating theme until I figured it out later in life. But it made sense to me to go join the National Guard and be able to pay my own way through school. So that made sense. And then really finding a sense of purpose. Going to the military was important to me because I was seeking for a sense of purpose, and I found that there. So and I developed some pretty good relationships and skills out of it.
Yeah, and so when you came back from basic and your advanced individual training, I understand that translating those skills to the civilian job market was rather challenging. Can you talk to us about what happened and some of your experiences?
Yeah. So when I went away for training, it was for line of sight and satellite communications. So it's a great field. I absolutely love it. I'm very passionate about it. I bring up websites and look at things like satellites and information regarding them and everything. But when you try to translate into the civilian career, especially around the area that I was in for a long time, it's very difficult to kind of match what I studied in the military and what I did for a long time into a civilian career. So on the one hand, on the military side, it was very beneficial to me because I figured out how to study complex things, and I learned valuable skills like that, and working with a team and everything. But it didn't translate, directly and map to a job, so to say.
Yeah, a lot of folks do have that issue with transitioning and translating those skills. And so, at what point and how did you join the NPower program? How did you find out about it, and when did you decide to join?
So I was coming up on the end of my second contract with the National Guard, and I was working full time for the DoD for a hot minute. And when I was trying to translate my skills and go into the civilian market, and establish my career outside of the military, a member of the NPower team actually contacted me on Indeed, actually, and they explained that this path that I was on, because there's a very clear path to get into information technology, and it's picking up certifications on the way, and it's very well laid out. It's very organic in its process, and we talked over that. That's what I was trying to accomplish, so that I could prove that I had a good skill set coming into the civilian job market, and that's what NPower was supporting. I signed up for an information technology program through them, And it was like a godsend because it was really what I was looking for. And through them helping me and providing me with resources, I got my information technology fundamental certification. I got my A+ certification. I got my Google IT support certification. So there was a number of things that I was already on my pathway to get, and they found me on the way and helped me accomplish that.
It's amazing. So they helped you along the way, and then you also saw some results as far as getting the certifications that you were seeking. Can you explain to me, just from your perspective, someone who is in your shoes, how do you motivate them to, and how do you get them to see the importance of education? How would you try to entice someone to prioritize education such as you have, if you were someone in your situation?
So for me, it makes sense to try to develop yourself. It really does. And it makes sense to um, start moving in a direction. Both of those things make sense to me. So if you were in my shoes, and I see this on a frequent basis with soldiers that I work with in the field, what I would say to them and what I would say to you is something like the NPower program that helps provide resources and gives you an opportunity to develop your talent into a skill, especially one like information technology that's not going away. It's only going to increase. Everything has a computer chip in it nowadays. Um, it's a no-brainer, really, as far as investing the time to try it out. Because in the very beginning, the first certification is, hey, is this right for you? Um, and so you'll find out as you're going along the way whether or not you want to push more energy to this. But if you're coming outside of the military and you have experience that you're trying to translate, studying IT and getting your certifications is an immediate way to show that you're marketable, and pursuing a career is so much easier. And then there's so many branches that you can go off, so many different ways that you can build a career, starting out with certifications in IT. And then there's so many positions that need people. So there's such a demand for these positions. So it's really common sense. And as far as motivation to try to push yourself through and study for these certifications and everything like that, it is a lot of hard work. But when you're working on developing your talent into skill, you're moving forward, and it's so much easier to change direction whenever you're already moving. So a lot of people get stuck trying to contemplate what's the best route to take, how to get ahead in today's economy and in today's world. And really, I would say just get started and study something that is going to have an immediate impact on your life. And no matter what career field you are, information technology is going to do that for you. So there's so many advantages to it, and just to get started.
Yeah, your story, you're truly a man of resiliency, overcoming many obstacles throughout your life. Can you explain a little bit about the mentors? I like to break it down in stages. For me, I had mentors when I was in high school, when I was younger, and then I had mentors when I was in college, and then I have mentors now that I work with. So for you, what mentors helped you along the way?
So along the way, I had a knack for finding good people, and I got really lucky, and I was really blessed for that. And so I've learned a lot from a lot of people from a lot of backgrounds. And one of the things that is most common in my life is I seek people out that mean to do well and lack the ability, even though they're aware that they have the ability to do things that intentionally harm people. I'm all about building people up. So um, I have a huge support group in my life. I have my godfather, who pretty much took me in and adopted me when I was younger. I learned a lot from him. And along the way, a ton of people in the military. And, now I'm pumped up by kids that are a lot younger than me. And I kind of see them as a role model in a way, because when they're gone and they're trying to figure out their life, it reminds me of being in that stage and trying to figure it all out. So a lot of them are doing really great. And the support group with NPower specifically kind of makes me think of that, because immediately we built a peer support group, and we started talking, and my computer just went off 50 times since I was talking to you, with them, chatting in the background and supporting each other. So, things like that kind of motivate me.
Yeah, and the reason I mention that is because coming from, a challenging background, sometimes people tend to focus on the negativity, like the negative folks. And so it's important to highlight and pay attention to the folks that are, I guess, of inspiration, folks who can help level you up, folks that can, believe in you. And so that's why I asked that question. It's really important. And since we're pivoting towards NPower being your current motivation and inspiration, I'd like to talk to Program Director Demetrius Goodwin and get more details on NPower. Demetrius, would you mind telling us a little more about the program, when it started and where it's at today?
Sure. So we actually started, depending on who you talk to, I'll say 1999 or 2000. Started there in New York and then kind of spread out. So now we have a total of 10 locations, including a sister site in Toronto, Canada. So the locations here are in the States. So of course, we're here in Baltimore. We have a site in San Jose, a site in Dallas, Texas, also Newark, New Jersey, Jersey City, Brooklyn, and Harlem, and then also Detroit and St. Louis. And we're soon looking to open up a site in LA and potentially, other future sites, NPower sites to come. We started, like I said, with one small class, but even before that, we were actually kind of a nonprofit that helped other nonprofits with their IT support. But then that evolved into what you kind of see today, where we're training, upwards toward now over 5,000 people in IT since the inception, with the goal to do 15 by 2023.
It's awesome. From your website, I see that around 80% of your enrollees not only graduate, but they successfully find employment following graduation from NPower. What would you say is the main factor for the program's overall success?
Oh, man. I would say a number of things. One, we try our best to recruit individuals coming in that we think can be successful in the program. Another thing we do is we try to provide some wraparound supports outside of just, the actual tech training. So we have social support managers that work with students and refer them out to resources if they need them for various things. It can be something as simple as, someone may need a bus pass just to get to class, and or up to, if students are dealing with mental health challenges or family issues. So getting them someone to talk to about those things. And then also we try to make it, a family affair and as fun as possible to, while the students are in class. And then on the back end, we do have a team that works with, placement and internships, and they have a number behind or a metric behind their success. So it's not just about the training and, that's that. There's a team that has to have they have a number they have to meet as far as students that are placed in employment and internships.
What is your motivation behind getting folks to level themselves up when they're in less than desirable situations, career-wise?
Yeah, so my motivation is, a lot of it's personal, personal background. Believe it or not, if you talk to me and Josh, I'm sure there's some similarity. I came from a small town as well, and kind of knew that I wanted to do something more. But along the way, it wasn't a straight line. It was kind of some backtracking. But saying all that, I identify with a lot of the people that we do work with, students coming in. And I just want them to say, hey, like you said, this is a pathway, a career pathway. It's not going anywhere. It's a need for it. Just like, back, let's say, 60, 70 years ago, there was plumbers, electricians, carpenters, masons. Now you need networking guys, you need your cyber guys and girls, you need your coders. So this is kind of the new blue collar, in my opinion, going forward. So just knowing that, and even working here locally in Baltimore, seeing some of the challenges within Baltimore City itself and in the surrounding area, you get motivated to say, hey, you got to get connected to this because this is a way forward for you.
And so I'm sure you dealt with folks who are kind of on the fence on whether or not they should join this program.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you tell them to help guide them into signing up for such a program and believing in themselves?
Yeah, a number of things. Like someone like Josh, right? You kind of knew what he wanted to do going forward, and you just kind of said, okay, this is how we can help you in your situation. You want to be connected to certs to provide you a launching pad. We can help you with that. It may be a case where there's a young man or young lady who's not a vet, someone 21 years old, left the parents' house, not to disparage any company, they're working at some warehouse or whatever they're doing, and they're kind of going about their life, but they say, hey, no, there's something better.
Mm-hmm.
And you tried to do it this way. You're probably fed up with it.
Right.
There's a reason why you either applied and or came to know us. So let's talk about, what that's going to look like for you for in the next 10 years, not just, and get them kind of look outside of the short term. Because sometimes, some students get so caught up in, I have to make rent or I have to do this, whatever. Okay, and that's great. We want you to think that way, but let's start thinking about 10 years from now too. Thinking about not just you, we're going to have a family, have a career, get them in that mindset to think long term and just not be on the next paycheck.
Yeah, and I understand you guys have a graduation ceremony coming up. How many graduates are going to be part of that? What other opportunities are coming over the horizon?
Yeah, so graduation, like you said, is the 28th, this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And here locally in Baltimore, we have 65 graduates. Nationally, and I don't know the exact number. I'm going to say around 300, but I could be off on that number, graduating nationally. So I think this will be our largest group yet. And we're continuing to grow, attempt to grow our numbers, like I said, pushing toward that 15,000. As far as future opportunities, we have another class or cohort starting August 16th for, vets, of course, vet spouses, and young adults 18 to 25. And what we're looking to do, again, is, start them off, like Josh said, we're focusing on the CompTIA ITF, the A+, and the Google IT support certificate. We also, and another thing I wanted to mention too, outside of our tech fundamentals class, we also have advanced placement training or advanced program training, where we train students in cyber. So moving toward the Security Plus with some Linux with that. And then also we have an advanced course centered around cloud with AWS. And that's open to all NPower alumni as well.
Oh, nice. So the education continues even once you've graduated.
Exactly. And we held those classes, every year. We have an advanced placement team that works with them. They are also work with them on the placement side after they complete the advanced training as well.
So with that being said, if anyone's interested in contacting you, Demetrius, what social platforms or what's your email address where they can contact you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. If you look up Demetrius Goodwin, you can find me there on LinkedIn. You also can email me, first name, last name. So Demetrius.Goodwin at NPower, the letter NPower.org. And if you want to listen, I don't have a problem with people calling me. My cell number, 443-863-7252. That's my office number. My cell, 770-856-6824. Call me if you have questions. Want to just talk about NPower, figure out if it's for you or not. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, and I'll put all those in the show notes as well. So folks interested in contacting Demetrius, you can find those in the show notes, his contact information. And Joshua, I just wanted to ask you as well, if anyone's interested in reaching out to you to hear your story or to get your feedback or to get your advice on joining NPower, where can they reach you?
Definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm on it 24/7. So, drop me a message, send me a link. Yeah, I'm more than happy to help out as many people as reach out to me, because NPower is a really good program. I believe in it. I think it's a good expenditure of time and everything like that. So I'd love to see people get involved with it and help them out in any way I can.
And Josh, do you have anything last to say to our listeners out there? Anything of motivation? Anything of, to final things, summarize and final things out?
Yeah, right. Really, if you're on the fence and you're trying to get things figured out, and you've tried a few things and you've had a few setbacks, We've all been there. And if you want to give this a try, if you want to give IT a try, you reach out to NPower and you talk to them about your goals, and it's worth a try. It really is. If you've tried everything else and you're trying to get ahead in life, you reach out to NPower. They'll put you in the right direction. They'll give you a support team, and you never know. 6 months down the road, you could be living a completely different life.
And Demetrius, I want to ask you as well. So folks out there who aren't quite sure if IT is for them, but they're curious about it, but let's say they don't think they're tech savvy enough, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, like Josh alluded to, the different pathways into IT. I know a lot of people, they'll watch movies and think about the guys that are, sitting there coding or hacking a computer, but there's a lot more to it. It's not as complicated as you think. And you can learn the material and get trained. So yeah, I would say just, seek out information, seek out a program, of course. Hopefully it's NPower. And you can get into IT, and it's not as complicated as you think. Divert a little bit. I did want to say, Josh and myself are both vets. I was even, just telling some other folks, some countries have but they require their citizen to go into the military after high school. And I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? That would maybe a good thing here. And only because I think for me, even the time when I was down or I was challenged or wanted to stop, that training, that whatever was in you, like, you cannot do that. You can't stop. You have to keep pushing, just giving a shout out to the military, just what they instill in you, just that training. So yeah, that mindset.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, because I think sometimes, especially as, being young men, young women, we don't know what's best for us. The military definitely got me out of my comfort zone, and it got me in front of and around people that I would have never met otherwise if I stayed in my same town. And I'm sure you can agree with this, but some of my best friends in the military were from places like North Dakota, places like New York City, but some of the places of the United States I would never visit myself. And it was absolutely awesome to have to work with them and learn, their culture, where they're at from their side of the map. And I agree with you 100% on that one, Demetrius, for sure. So is there anything else final that you want to say to everyone, Demetrius?
No, just thanks everyone. Hope you learn a little bit more about NPower. We'd love to connect with anyone that's interested. And thank you, KP, and thank Josh.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate both of you giving me the opportunity and the time today, because at the end of the day, I'm one of those guys that says, I don't know if IT is for me, but here I am dealing with all this IT stuff in front of me, the audio recorder that I have, the computer that I have, this program that I'm running. So it's something that you should at least, dip your toes in and reach out to NPower and speak to, Demetrius, speak to some of the folks at NPower, let them run some questions by you and see if this is something certainly for you. It doesn't hurt. It's free. And at the end of the day, they have an 80% success rate. So as long as you meet them in the middle, you're going to walk away with something that's going to be able to help you in your career. So anyone out there listening, please give NPower an opportunity to change your life. Give them an opportunity to actually help you level up and make your career even better. This is The Morning Formation. I'm KP with Josh and Demetrius. Thank you everyone for listening, and we're out. You've been listening to the Morning Formation Podcast. I hope you found today's materials helpful and of value to your current situation. You can connect with me on Instagram at the_morning_formation_podcast, or you can connect with me via email at theformationpodcaster@gmail.com. Also, I would like to thank my partners at Act Now Education for their support. Authenticity, community, and trusted is what you can expect from all members of the Act Now Education team. You can link up with them today and learn about some new, free educational resources on their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or at their website, actnoweducation.com. Whether today's show took you back to a nostalgic time or helped you think about tomorrow, thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again. Stay safe and stay motivated. Warriors, fall out.